Welcome to another edition of Tax Tuesday Live, y'all. Today we are going to talk about the colossal $2,000 mistake I made on my clients' tax returns. And I got a piece I want to go over with you that somebody sent to me, and I thought it was pretty interesting. So I wanted to go over that today. But again, welcome, everybody. Happy Tuesday. This is another Tax Tuesday Live, and we're going to talk about taxes. Why? So you can take control over your tax situation way before tax season, right? Because taxes is a contact sport. It's an all year sport. It's not something you just do hit or miss. It's something when you really want to dominate it and take control of it, you have to be full on engaged with it. All right. So again, I'm Kamari Ellis. If you have any tax questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. We would definitely talk about them. My stream is looking a little messed up, but it's okay. We'll keep rocking. We'll keep rocking and rolling. But yep, we are here. We are here live. All righty. So let's see. Let me get this going. Give me 1 second. Un momento. There we go. Now my stuff is all messed up. Must be. There we go. Now we're cooking. My settings were off. I do too many things, y'all. All right, but listen, I wanted to talk to you all about this one thing. And I thought it was really interesting. There's a gentleman by the name of Russell Peters. He is a comedian that is from Canada, but it looks like he makes most of his money in the United States and he pays taxes in the United States. But more of that, I'll get back to that in a minute. So check this out.
Wow.
Yeah. Tell me about your relationship with money, because I'm genuinely, as somebody who saw, I just valued, I like started working, I'm sure you did too, early, and like save for college, and then once I've started, like,
I was financially illiterate my entire life.
Illiterate,
and
That was kind of cool what they did right there.
still financially.
yeah. Just so
basically
everyone knows,
financially
I
retarded
mentioned
still.
I mentioned an index fund to Russell before we started, and he said I've never heard of it.
Yep.
So just so he walks the walk. He really is illiterate.
Yeah. I wish I wasn't, but
It's you could take an hour and get pretty literate with it. Do you understand that you need to make more than you spend?
yes, that I understand.
Like, so have you ever had like a lot of debt?
Yeah, I got put in debt from my old accountant. He tax debt.
Oh,
He filed my taxes for 2 years
The same
in a row
guy who-
and didn't pay them. He didn't steal the money. He just didn't pay the fucking taxes. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
this is the guy who told you to sell the house?
Yeah, I fired him subsequently, obviously.
Huh.
But I didn't find out that he didn't pay my taxes till after I'd fired him. Because I signed everything thinking, okay, it's my business manager. You take care of the...
And it was just a whoopsie daisy?
How do you whoopsie-daisy it 2 years in a row?
Well, where's the money?
Again, I don't know. He never took it, so I don't know what he did with it.
It's a whoopsie daisy.
I guess on some level is a whoopsie-daisy, but it's some...
Was he by himself?
He had his own company, but then he stole the company, and I think that's where things started to get fucked up because he was thinking other people are doing the job that they should be doing, and they don't know me.
Right. Okay, so you had debt, but that's not like credit card debt or something stupid. Like you've been making a great living, as far as I can remember, for 20 years.
At least, yeah.
And so, and you have no compunction about you'll buy anything.
No, I won't do that anymore.
But there was a point.
There was definitely a point where I'd be like, ooh, is that a watch? $100,000? I want that. I'd go buy it. Now I'm like, $5,000? Are you crazy? I ain't buying shit.
But was it because you bought enough $100,000 things and
I bought
realized,
enough
like,
things where
this is fucking, I don't do anything with them.
Yeah, I realized, during all that time that when I started weeding things out during the pandemic, I got rid of a convertible Rolls Royce. I got rid of a BMW. I got rid of my Lamborghini. I got rid of all the dumb shit. I sold a bunch of Y watches. I got like $300,000 for these watches. You know what I mean? So I was like, Yeah, I didn't. And then I miss them sometimes. I'm like, when I see somebody wearing the same watch I used to have, I go, fuck, I used to have that watch. You know what I mean?
But what is that? What does that even mean?
It's such a momentary feeling, you know.
It's like you had the money, you just decided to not have it anymore.
Yeah, I was like, I had that. Man.
What do you get from wearing a nice watch? Because I had a Rolex at one point and was like, I don't know what I mean by this. Like, I didn't know
This is all going somewhere, everybody.
what I was saying. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
maybe you just did it to do it because it seemed like the thing.
Yeah,
to
I
do.
was like, it seems
for
like,
me, it's like I like nice things on me. You know what I mean?
I've never even understood that. Meaning, what does that mean?
Like, I like to hold something in my wrist. Go, it's a little trophy of what I worked for.
And it doesn't. Okay, and you don't think like this was a waste? I wish you could buy safety with it, or you? Just
I still don't think like that. I still have to get there. So once I get out of the financial hole that I was left in, then I'll start looking at, all right, now it's time to put some money away for the right.
Oh,
thing.
You're still in the hole.
Oh yeah, he left me in an $8 million hole.
Well.
All right, so he left him in an $8 million hole. He's saying his accountant is the reason why he is in tax problems. So, me and my peeps, me and my accountant peeps, me and my tax peeps, we have a saying. This is a little insider baseball, y'all. And please don't be offended by this, but it lends to our circumstance. All clients lie, right? And the reason why we say that is that one, either you can't believe them because you must always go and verify what they're saying, or in situations like this, sometimes the facts aren't facting. I mean, that's the only way I can say it. Now, there's a couple reasons why I say this. And listen, Russell Peters is hilarious. I think he's pretty funny, right? But he admitted that he has no idea about what financial literacy is. And what I find is that most people who have major tax problems have low financial IQs. And that's just my observation. That's my experience. And it seems to play out every chance I see it. All right. So I say all that to say, I'm going to go back through this because I want to point out to you a couple of things. All right. But I want to show you something before I do that. And I just want to share this in one place real quick, y'all. But again, if anybody has any questions, this is Tax Tuesday. Feel free to throw them in the chat. I will be answering them once I get through everything. But I want to show you all this real quick because this guy not only had problems with the quote unquote IRS, he also had problems with the state of California. And the state of California is no one you want to mess with. The Franchise Tax Board or Bureau, whatever their name is, they have no conscience as far as I'm concerned, and they will take anybody down when it comes to tax relations. But I want to show you all this. I want to show you this real quick. All right, because remember he mentioned $8 billion, right? So when I pull this up, I want to just show you this. Oops, let me take this down. Let me remove that. All right, so comedian Russell Peters was recently involved in a high-profile tax dispute in California for $2.1 million in taxes. All right, and listen, it's not uncommon for comedians, entertainers to have problems with their money, and especially taxes. If you go back with Red Fox, major problems with taxes. I want to say Kevin Hart has had problems with taxes. A lot of people who basically kind of came from nothing, made themselves out of something, have issues when it comes to taxes because a lot of people don't understand. But here in dispute in September 2025, the ruling was the California Office of Tax Appeals said that Peters was a California resident. Remember, I said that he's originally from Canada, right? He tried to appeal paying his taxes in California by saying that he indeed was domiciled in Nevada and they don't have income tax in Nevada. California said no. California said, hell no, because it says Peter owned 3 properties in California during the time disputed. And remember, the time disputed was 2012, 2013, and 2014. All right. And then if you go back into that video, we're going to get back to that. It seems like he had some IRS problems as well. But again, he doesn't like to pay taxes. Nobody likes to pay taxes, right? But sometimes when you don't really understand the tax game, it really takes over. And especially when you don't want to be responsible for your taxes, it can be really, really rough. It can be really, really rough. So I want to just, there's a pattern here, y'all. There's a pattern here. So I just want to go back to this.
So, and you were
Quick, oops.
illiterate?
Illiterate. And still
I really, really like how they did that. It was post-production. Excuse me for nerding out real quick.
financially.
Yeah, just so
basically
everyone knows,
financially
I
retarded
mentioned
stuff.
I mentioned an index fund.
All right. I don't really care about that.
You could take an hour and get pretty literate with it. Do you understand that?
By the way, that's actually true. It doesn't take a whole lot to become financially literate. Just a couple concepts. I'll probably talk about that more during maybe around our Wealthy Wednesdays or one of our Freedom Friday shows when me, Jimmy, and Corey are on. But it really doesn't take long. It just takes a few key concepts.
You need to make more than you spend.
Yes, that I understand.
Like, so have you ever
Now, y'all heard him run down what he likes. He likes the fancy watches. He likes the cars. But he makes the money. So, again, I'm not mad at it.
ever had like a lot of debt?
Yeah, I got put in debt from my old accountant. He tax debt.
Oh,
This is the issue I have. He says he got put in debt by his old tax accountant. And that's why I said in the industry, we say all clients lie. So
He filed my taxes for 2 years
The
in a
same
row
guy
and,
who-
and didn't pay them. He didn't steal the money.
he said he didn't pay him. He didn't steal the money. Is it possible maybe they just had a miscommunication? And also, I do want to say this. When you are in the entertainment business, a lot of times they will have managers who are, or accountants who are acting as managers and office managers and just handle all your stuff, right? So sometimes you will see artists have problems with their managers and their accountants because they say they ripped them off or they didn't do something. Here he's saying his accountant put him in tax debt because he didn't pay his tax bills. Here's the thing. All taxpayers are ultimately responsible for handling their tax bills, right? Even if you were signing the paperwork. And so he talked about his financial literacy. Clearly, this is something he doesn't understand. Even if you make $1 billion a year, you still have an obligation to pay your taxes. Now, you can hire a proxy. Somebody can write the check for you, swipe the card, send the PayPal. And I know all that because I just paid a tax bill right before I got on here. That's why I'm running a little bit late today, right? Because I didn't realize you could use PayPal. So I was shocked by that. But again, you can still pay the bill. The question is, are you properly delegating it? Are you properly aware of it? Do you properly understand it? And what I find is a lot of people do not understand their taxes. So it's bigger than just signing the taxes. It's bigger than just having a tax bill. You got to really understand why you owe taxes, who you owe taxes to, and what was the reason for it? Was it because you didn't pay enough in taxes to cover your income, or did some other shenanigans happen?
He just didn't pay the fucking taxes. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
this is the guy who told you to sell the house?
Yeah, I fired him subsequently, obviously.
Huh.
But I didn't find out that he didn't pay my taxes till after I'd fired him.
So also that's another, to me, discrepancy, right? A discrepancy that you would think, had they been in good communication, he would have figured out what tax liabilities he had before ending his contract or employment of said accountant.
I signed everything thinking, okay, it's my business manager. You take care of the...
And it was just a whoopsie daisy?
How do you whoopsie daisy it 2 years in a row?
Well,
So for 2 years they weren't communicating. So again, this is why many of us say clients lie, because I have seen it. I've experienced it firsthand. Matter of fact, if y'all remember, I did a show saying that a client robbed me of $300. A client said I didn't do their tax returns. When I did, they did a chargeback on my payment processor, won it. So basically, got their taxes done for free. And I was like, what in the world? But it happens. Weird things happen in business.
Where's the money?
Again, I don't know. He never took it. So I don't.
So again, you don't know where your money is. You don't know when your money's flowing out. That tells me you do not have a good accounting or bookkeeping system either. So there's a lot of things here, right? And that's why, and y'all know if you haven't rocked with me for a while, and if you're new to me, I hate the term financial literacy. I do. I like the term financial education because it's not enough just to be literate. It's like when you're reading, right? Okay, sure, every parent wants their child to be able to read. But what the parent really wants, if you're a good parent, you want your child to be able to comprehend what they are reading. So it's more to just say, Jack and Jill went up the hill. You need to understand why Jack and Jill went up the hill and what they did when they got up there. But that's a whole other thing. And by the way, I see you, Gerald. Welcome, sir. Happy Tuesday to you. But again, you know, there's lessons here. And again, I'm not trying to tear down Russell Peterson. I think he's a brilliant comedian, but these are all lessons for each of us to learn as we go through our journey with money.
I don't know what he did with it.
It's a whoopsie daisy.
I guess on some level is a whoopsie daisy, but it's some.
Was he by himself?
He had his own company, but then he stole the company, and I think that's where things started to get fucked up because he was thinking other people are doing the job that they should be doing, and they don't know me.
Right. Okay, so you had debt, but that's not like credit card debt or something stupid. Like you've been making a great living, as far as I can remember, for 20 years.
At least, yeah.
And so, and you have no compunction about you'll buy anything.
No, I won't do that anymore.
But there was a point.
There was definitely a point where
he won't do that anymore. But clearly he was doing it. And was he doing it when he was saying his accountant was not doing his or her job?
I'd be like, ooh, is that a watch? $100,000? I want that. I'd go buy it. Now I'm like, $5,000? Are you crazy? I ain't buying shit.
But was it because you bought enough $100,000 things and
I bought enough things where
this is fucking, I don't do anything with them.
Yeah, I realized, you know, during all that time that when I started weeding things out during the pandemic, I got rid of a convertible Rolls Royce. I got rid of a BMW.
So I always find it interesting when these entertainers and super rich people are able to do everything, buy everything, Rolls Royces, cars, watches, but pay their damn tax bill. I find that utterly hilarious.
Rid of my Lamborghini. I got rid of all the dumb shit. I sold a bunch of Y watches. I got like $300,000 for these watches. You know what I mean? So I was like, yeah, I didn't. And then I miss them sometimes. I'm like, when I see somebody wearing the same watch I used to have, I go, fuck, I used to have that watch. You know what I mean?
But what is that? What does that even mean?
It's such a momentary feeling. You know,
it's like you had the money, you just decided to not have it anymore.
Yeah, I was like, I had that. Man.
What do you get from wearing a nice watch? Because I had a Rolex at one.
That's actually a great question.
Point and was like, I don't know what I mean by this. Like, I didn't know what I was saying. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
maybe you just did it to do it because it seemed like the thing.
Yeah, I was like, it seems
for
like,
me, it's like I like nice things on me. You know what I mean?
I've never even understood that. Meaning, what does that mean?
Like I like to hold something in my wrist. Go, it's a little trophy of what I worked for.
And it doesn't. Okay, and you don't think like this was a waste? I wish you could buy safety with it, or you? Just I
still don't think like that. I still have to get there. So once I get out of the financial hole that I was left in, then I'll start looking at. All right, now it's time to put some money away for the right.
Oh,
thing.
You're still in the hole.
Oh yeah, you left me in an $8 million hole.
Well.
$8 million. He's claiming the accountant left him in an $8 million hole. And as y'all saw earlier, he said the accountant didn't take the money. He just didn't pay it. I think that's a heavy allegation, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you worked it out with the government? Like, I'll get you the money.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, I busted my ass. I'm already down less than half of that now.
Great.
So he's paid roughly $4 million. And then we just saw that he's got an issue with California for $2 million, right? So I don't know that it's the tax professional or is the client. A lot of times it is the client. But I say all that, right? Because there are times where clients mess up. There are times when tax accountants mess up. So if you look at the title of today's show, it says my client's $2,000 tax mistake, right? I'm one of those clients, or excuse me, I'm one of those tax accountants who make mistakes. But I have to be accountable for them. And so I wound up paying $2,000 in interest and penalties to my client's IRS account today because I made a mistake. And so let me break this down. 2025 has been a crazy year for me, y'all. As many of you know, my father passed roughly a year ago. Actually, we're coming up with an anniversary. And I don't say that to garner any sympathy or anything like that, just to explain to you the situation. So it's been a crazy year. I've definitely been overwhelmed. I've had to take care of a lot of his stuff, a lot of his clients, because I assumed his clients as well, and we're looking out for them and attempting to be a good steward for them as well. And so, it's been challenging to say the least. And what happened was I had a client whose tax returns I completed back in April. They were all done. And mind you, this client makes a decent amount of money. Somehow I didn't follow them. I don't know how. I didn't follow them. And so what happened was they didn't get filed until November. They should have been filed in April. Actually, right before April 15th. Remember, that is the tax deadline for individuals. But I didn't file it till November. So I had to go and look, figure out what the IRS assessed. There's various penalties. Penalty for not filing, penalty for not paying, right? They were several $100s a piece. The interest was like $750 alone. So I wound up writing a check or swiping my card for over $2,100, right? So I said 2,000, but I figured 2,000 sounded better than 2,100. So I had to do that because one, it wasn't the client's fault; it was my fault, and I had to own up to it, and I had to be accountable for it. And a lot of times you hear people say things about tax accountants, and they don't give clarity. And they don't give the full picture. They don't give the context. They don't give the details, right? And so, like I said, that's my fault. I had to fix it. I had to be accountable. Anybody can make a mistake. We're all humans. Again, I'm not looking for any sympathy or anything like that because, again, you made a mistake. You got to step up to the plate and you got to fix it. And that's what I did. But, again, sometimes we get blamed for problems and things that we didn't do, we didn't create, we didn't manufacture. We just try to fix them. And then sometimes we get thrown under the bus. Actually, a lot of times we get thrown under the bus. And because I've seen people badmouth folks to other folks, right? Do something wrong or perceived wrong. Word of mouth spreads. I have seen clients badmouth, quote unquote, former tax accountants to the IRS. So I do this thing every year, or a couple of times a year, actually, with the IRS called Settlement Week. So I partner with the Bar Association, and the Bar Association does this thing called Settlement Week, where they help taxpayers who are usually low income work out settlements with the IRS to pay them bread, usually in pennies on the dollar. All right. And so when I do these, I volunteer because I always want to see everything that's going on out there. And I've seen plenty of taxpayers say, "Oh, it was a tax accountant's fault." And when you go and you look at things and you say, "Oh, wow, this person didn't get the tax accountant all their records in a timely fashion," and then when you dig deep, you say, "It wasn't the tax accountant's fault; it was the client's fault. They just don't want to be accountable." And again, sometimes they don't know, sometimes they don't want to know. But at the end of the day, somebody's reputation was potentially tarnished. So, you gotta be careful with that. You gotta be careful with that. What up, Nicole? Hey, how you doing? How you doing? So, that's my story. That's my tragedy. mini tragedy. I wanted to share that because one, it's a business lesson and it's a tax lesson, right? The business lesson is when you're running a business, you have to be accountable. If you are, you're going to be a good business owner, right? Yes, does it hurt? Do I just have money to give freely? Hell no. But I can't have my clients be unduly hurt just because of a mistake that I made. So again, I had to stand up and do what's right by it. Okay. And so again, when you think about these things and you think about taxes, a lot of times these things get mitigated when you're super duper proactive. All right. So, just be careful when you're blaming tax accountants to say, or any accountant or any professional, did you do everything that you were supposed to do? Do you understand what you were supposed to do? Because a lot of times, again, people don't understand. Just like Russell Peterson openly admits he does not have a high financial literacy rate. His IQ financially is very, very low. And honestly, it doesn't seem like he really cares to increase it. Because again, I think most comedians are like borderline geniuses. So if he committed himself, I believe he could figure out a lot of these things, a lot of these financial concepts, a lot of these tax concepts, or at least figure out when he could pay or when he should pay his tax bill or when he should be paying his tax bill or why he should be paying his tax bill. But I want to know, does anybody watching have any tax questions for me today? Go ahead, throw them in the screen, throw them in the chat, and tell me what you're thinking. Hopefully, Nicole is a business owner, I know, so I'm going to pick on you for a little bit. Hopefully, you got your records in order. I believe you will. So by the time tax season rolls around next year, you'll be good to go. And you ain't got to wait till April 15th to get an extension and then say, oh, we're going to have to work on this later on this year, right? You'll be able to get them, put them in, file them, get a refund, maybe pay your tax bill, maybe whatever you got to do, get it done. But again, if anybody has any tax questions, this is Tax Tuesday Live. Again, I told you all I want to be committed to do these shows on taxes every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Again, Jarrell said 8 p.m., so I'm doing that at 8 p.m. Nobody else chimed in. I know a lot of times people find taxes super duper boring. I get it. But sadly, they're super duper boring, but they're super duper necessary. So it's something that you got to think about. As you probably heard me say a million times, taxes are the greatest enemy to wealth creation. Actually, taxes are the greatest enemy to wealth creation, preservation, transfer, and all those other fancy terms I could throw at you all when it comes to wealth. So again, it behooves you to be super duper proactive when it comes to handling your tax affairs, planning for them, strategizing, paying them, following them, all of those things, making sure you get them together. All right, so we don't have any questions, y'all. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here and get you some videos. I'll be back later on this week. As if y'all know, if any of y'all notice, I have been stepping up my activities on my YouTube page. Again, go on over and follow, subscribe to the Financial Rebel page, but also subscribe to my new YouTube channel, which is Tax Tuesday Live. Tax Tuesday Live. All right. And again, if you have any questions you want to send me, make sure you send me an email to taxtuesdaylive@gmail.com. taxtuesdaylive@gmail.com. Let me throw this up on the board so y'all can see it. Where'd it go? There we go. All right. And so again, if you have any tax questions, go ahead and go on over. Shoot me an email to taxtuesdaylive@gmail.com. Until then, I'll be back. But to talk about taxes, I'll be back next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Until then, y'all be great. Have a great week. So long.